Covering this this statue here of Robert Pike, who they're trying to remove. We were doused with some white powder by a protester here. I don't know really why she brought out white powder, but she was also holding some tools to remove the statue. She was claiming that she was going to use the tools to break down the statue, and when we asked her some more questions on that, she doused us with some white powder. So there we are with that.
Alex Answer here. It is August 20th, 2017, on the eve before this widely anticipated solar eclipse. And I've been discussing for years the effects of some of these celestial events on human society, and then we look at the world today. We look at the staged events today, and I have a few things to say. Even in the wake of YouTube demonetization, because this message is critical. They absolutely are marginalizing America as a racist nation at this time. However, there has been a lot of racist propaganda on the internet, which I keep bringing up over and over and over again. And this was very critical 1 year ago when I was talking to you about the real fake news that does exist, and especially was exploding on Facebook during the rise of Donald Trump. The Facebook feed deliberately making sure that certain stories about Islamic invasion and really extreme things, even though we do have people fighting around the world from different groups, but we're talking about exaggerated stories that really push the envelope. And I was noting this, and I also said, well, they're going to do this on the other side. They demonize one group, and they really build like a movement out of that, and the co-opting of real libertarians to whatever they think they are now. And now you see these rallies and people are going, what the fuck? There's actually a special on ABC News. And I don't think people really give a lot of thought to how mass media exposure to certain groups helps increase the numbers.
Two more warring clans, Antifa and white supremacists, are heading here for a high noon showdown.
No longer will you be the silent majority. You have a voice.
This is Trump country. He garnered 80% of the votes here, so Matt Heimbach sees fertile ground for his next big racist rally and to recruit for his cause of creating a whites-only homeland.
Our strongest area of membership is in Appalachia and in the Rust Belt. This is an area where people have just been left behind by the economy, where white folks feel that they don't have an advocate.
We are preparing for the worst, hoping for the best.
Because of past violence by masked Antifa, the Inauguration Day action in Washington, and this violent protest in February at the University of California, Berkeley, Pikeville City Manager Donovan Blackburn is worried.
What are people talking about more than anything else next to the solar eclipse and Donald Trump flip-flopping? It's civil war. So you don't have to participate in the civil war if you don't want to. But what people forget is you're not dealing with two armies or militaries. You're dealing with Americans. You're dealing with civilians. They don't have armaments. Just because they have helmets and bats and other weapons doesn't make them a standing army. I'm going to go ahead and play real quick some audio from Master Hughes. Really interesting commentary. I saw the headline. I don't see a lot of other people on this level of awareness. Let me play this clip, come back.
Well, this is Master Hughes, and the solar eclipse is upon us. Will it cause massive demonstrations and an overthrow of the government? You see, everybody knows the government does not follow the Constitution anymore. The government does not obey the law anymore. And the government is willing to use violence against Americans to ensure the regime. Okay? So the question is this. We all know, those of us that are criminologists, even psychologists, sociologists a lot of times, know that solar eclipses affect the human mind, affect human behavior. And so I thought this was an interesting time to draw attention to this and ask, have the American people had enough? Will the solar eclipse affect people enough that they decide they've had enough with the government Now, some of you may not think this is possible, but it's documented changes in people's psychology and the way they act during solar eclipses. So, is it possible? We have, on one hand, the government is abusive. We have, on the other hand, the people have had enough. Will the solar eclipse be the thing it takes to cause an overturn of the government by the people? This is Master Hughes just giving you something to think about. Please leave your comments.
Very good
Please
points.
subscribe.
I'm going to comment on that.
Leave a tip. Everything's great so long as it's nicely done. All right, this is Master Hughes. Bye-bye.
Master Hughes on YouTube. 788 subscribers. He deserves far more than that. Well-spoken, nice studio. To check out some of his other videos. So a lot of this information is in my PDF, and I'm going to expand my work. But people need to be able to step back and look at the world events that take place, periods like in which we see Occupy and even the Tea Party. And then the co-opting of those movements, but those movements rising with the emotions, as the emotions are affected by other factors. Okay, is there going to be some, whatever happens as far as like coup talk and overthrow of the government is staged and manufactured, because they're redirecting all this in this anger, and you're seeing attacks on American icons. Yes, controversy around the Confederate stuff, but then they're going to other things that represent the icons of America. You know, an increase in seeing people burn the flag and people fighting over the flag, and then a video that I saw from End Times Report. I want to talk about that commentator. But you basically see a video of a woman holding an American flag, an Antifa coming up and snatching that flag. See, and this guy, he's a fed-up Trump supporter. There's a difference between being a fed-up Trump supporter and awakening. Awakening to a reality that these presidents work together, that these nation-state leaders work together behind closed doors, but not in the way that they're discussing on the mainstream media. You know, it's become very tabloidish, as well as the alternative media. The alternative media has become an absolute joke. Not just Alex Jones, but the top speakers in the alternative media. That's why I don't listen to their content, unless I'm analyzing their psychology, their madness, analyzing if the spell is still upon them. There's a difference between being fed up and going, Donald Trump, you lied to us. Oh my God, we've never seen deception like this before. A president lied to us. Oh my God. Now the question is Donald Trump going to be embarking on particular actions that are really going to piss off his support base? And that's also something that I speculated before Donald Trump was selected. I predicted his selection as a puppet of the New World Order empire. And if we go into a conflict, it's a conflict designed for the United States not to come out the victor. Now, briefly with North Korea, I also want to bring your attention to how much fear they brought us just days ago. I want you to note how close that was to the eclipse. Now, some of you aren't on a level with regards to, just to be broad here, the idea that we're not alone in the universe. But there's a certain amount of you that do understand. And so we've been played big time. The entire nation has been played and has been boxed into this artificial conflict. Sure, you see these people angry in the streets fighting Trump supporters. But do you see them angry in the streets specifically with regards to the drone attacks, Middle Eastern wars, and other domestic issues? Or do you see their rise kind of going along with the mainstream media rise? But it takes two to tango. And they are literally promoting several sets of propaganda at the same time. You can watch Fox News and feel victimized as you watch your political sports team get their ass kicked, or you can celebrate as they kick somebody else's ass, as Fox News, like CNN, just like a decade ago, playing different sides. Playing different sides. So as we look at this footage from ABC 2020. It's important that whether you're a Trump supporter or whether you're not a Trump supporter, that you understand this level of co-opting that is taking place, especially for those of you that are not white supremacists. But see, we've had a pointless argument this last year as to what type of propaganda is coming out. And then some people saying they're not seeing that type of propaganda or they're not being affected by it. Affected by the idea of innocent men, women, and children being demonized because the country in which they were born and the situations that they're in. That was horrific and inhumane. And every step of the way I continue my podcast. Go back and check out what I recorded last year because I'm not covering the stuff that I already covered. Gonna talk about what's happening now. But the theme was, in most of those podcasts, some of them with an old friend, Kyle Reardon, what they will do to others, they will do to you. And there's something that could be said about a consciousness of a human being that doesn't recognize these types of patterns. So yeah, it looks like Donald Trump is set to create some unrest within this country, allegedly sending mixed messages, praising the protesters in Boston. That is not an accident, nor are his other actions. I'm Alex Ansary. Please support my work at outsidethebox.vhx.tv in the wake of YouTube demonetization. Very special thank you to the 2 people that signed up since I lost my job recently. Bring the subscriber base up to 26. This is going to be a really positive sign if this continues and we get into the 30s in the next few days, the next few weeks.